All right, say trees.
Trees. Campaign day 5 was a high-vis vibe. The pitch? Forestry funding to win the Tassie tribe.
It's going down. I'm yelling
Timber.
Mr. Worldwide.
But the PM found himself at loggerheads. Get it?
'Cause it's about to go down.
It's a broken promise, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Morrison under fire after consciously uncoupling from his promise of a Federal Integrity Commission.
This Prime Minister just makes promises and walks away from it.
You promised you would establish one in the last term. You have not. That's a broken promise.
We put forward our proposal in detailed legislation and it has not been supported by the Labor Party.
Actually, the legislation was never introduced, and it wasn't just Labor who didn't support the government's widely panned approach.
I think we should suspend the standing orders.
After crossing the floor on the issue last year, today Liberal MP Bridget Archer towed the party line.
Isn't that a bit disingenuous?
Not at all.
Did somebody say tall?
Not at all.
Anthony Albanese finding it harder than usual to rise above the pack as he campaigned alongside all 6'8" of Dan Repicoli,
I'll give you the big tip.
whose stature was a welcome distraction from this moment.
We'll turn boats back. Turning boats back means that you don't need offshore detention.
The comments creating a question mark over Labor's offshore detention policy.
That would be a remarkable departure from the Labor Party policy. That would be a weakening of the policy that even Julia Gillard had. That's actually a very dangerous statement he's made this morning.
Anthony Albanese has had every position on border protection. He has supported everything he has opposed and he's opposed everything that he has supported.
3 hours later, Albanese tried again.
Could you just clarify whether or not you plan on ditching offshore processing?
Of course not.
So what do you mean when you say turning back boats means you don't need offshore detention?
No, well, that's the preference at the moment. There aren't people have gone into offshore detention in recent times because the boats have been turned back.
The opposition leader dancing around another misstep, the PM dancing around another broken promise, while Jackie Lambie was just dancing.
Little shoulder movement. Jim, can you dance like Shrek?
Dance us out, Jackie!
Wow.
Which bit are you wowing?
So much to choose from, really. Well, you know what? Coming into the election, it kind of looked a bit like a lay-down misere for Labor. And now it's not looking like that. So early on, it's just like, oh, why did you say that?
So what's the problem exactly, do you think?
Oh, well, I don't know. Why,
No, I don't mean
I'm still me.
No, I don't mean psychoanalyse or... I just mean when you say it looks like it's falling apart, what is it that looks like it's falling apart?
Well, it just seems that people are venturing into statements of things, but like Labor, the opposition, for instance, venturing into making statements about things that I think they don't have to make statements about. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can keep their cards closer to their chest.
But every journalist at the moment, I think, can smell a bit of blood in the water.
Oh, yeah, the burly.
And they're just going in big. I mean, Adam Bant was brilliant in his response for that gotcha moment where he said, Google it, mate, which was just slapping it right back. Because every journo is after a gotcha moment right now.
But Albo doesn't seem to be confident enough that he could do that.
And
whereas ScoMo's dishing it out, but also absolutely making stuff up about what he's previously said. The whole thing's like...
But that's what he's always done. Like, that's situation normal.
Yeah, I guess. And
it obviously works for him in a campaign.
Yes, and in leading.
That Albanese moment, though, wasn't a gotcha. That wasn't a...
It was an own goal.
Milk.
That's true.
It was an own goal.
That was a confusion about policy. And I take your point. I mean, I gather you would have been asked about it rather than come out and front-footed it. But, like, talking about borders never works for Labor. It's just not something that they get any benefit out of.
So why would you talk about it?
Yeah, so you come up with a way...
When you know that you don't have solid footing.
You come up with a way of not answering the question. But then here we are in the media now advising them to come up with a way of not answering the question. This is very, very bizarre.
Oh, and also the thing in politics is if you're black and white in your views, then you can usually win an argument. But if you've got a bit of grey in the middle, which Labor tends to have, that's when you can start having own goals. Yeah.
If you look muddled, I think that becomes
muddled. That's write that down. Muddled is not a good policy.
No, it's also a great and underused word.
But great for a cocktail.
Yes.
All right.